All right, here we go. Charleston White, welcome back to VladTV.
Third time is a charm.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, so, well, number one, I want to tackle this because by the time this comes out, the news is going to be out. But R. Kelly's on trial right now with a lot of charges. If you were to guess what's going to happen in terms of the jury, is he going to be found not guilty? Is he going to get a couple of years? Is he going to get a bunch of years? Or is he going to get life?
He's going to get a bunch of years. He's proven guilty, so he's trying to prove his innocence. He hasn't been really treated as if he's innocent in being proven guilty. He's already been convicted in the courts of public opinion. He's already been convicted in the media. All media reports have pretty much painted him as guilty. I don't think he's going to get a fair trial based on the fact that the Me Too movement put together the Surviving R. Kelly documentary. So I think it taints the jury, right? So, it is what it is, man. But he won't be the first black man in America to get railroaded or fucked over in the court system. So it happens every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Well, according to a report that I just read, which I didn't realize until this morning, is that after this trial ends, R. Kelly's facing a federal trial for child pornography and obstruction. He also has charges in Cook County on sexual abuse involving 4 victims, 3 of which were minors at the time. And then he has another set of charges in Minnesota where he's charged with 2 counts of engaging in prostitution with a minor. So even, let's just say that he beats all these charges, he walks away, the jury finds him not guilty like they did in the first trial, he's got 3 more trials on the way.
So let me just play devil's advocate on behalf of R. Kelly, right? Why don't they do him like they done Epstein, right? They didn't allow no information to come out on Epstein. His madam or his mistress Giselle, she spilled her beans. They haven't gave us any names. They have manifestos of some of the highest ranking people in the world visit his island, right? So there's a lot of people who was complicit in Epstein's long years of sex trafficking children. Just as so with R. Kelly. There's a long history of people that's just as complicit as he is, that stood by and watched it. Music artists, music executives, industry people. So, they need to, I don't wish death upon him, but what more else would be left of that man if he faced all those charges? And he was allowed, and let's keep in mind, he was allowed to do, me and you couldn't have done this for 6 months. He has been allowed to do this for almost 3 decades.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when his first trial was coming up, that tape was circulating all through like the swap meets in the neighborhoods and so forth. This is really, the internet was around, but people were still using VHS tapes.
We all watched that child pornography tape.
Everyone saw it.
We all saw that child pornography tape. We all watched that child porn. It was horrific. We didn't even know you can engage in sexual acts like that because we was all in our early 20s, right? Fresh out of high school, still in college. Man, we didn't know you can get off. Motherfucker got off to making the girl just pee. So, and peeing on the floor. So, no, man, that was some sick shit. So, what happened then? So, it goes away. He goes to perform with Jay-Z. Man, he goes to become one of the biggest selling artists in all-time history. Why now? We as a public should be asking ourselves not to excuse this behavior, not to make justifications for it, but why now?
Well, I think it was a documentary, like you said. Just like in the same way that Michael Jackson started having all those charges against him, it was because of a documentary that came out during that time. And having a big documentary that's all over the networks, everyone's talking and so forth. The DA gets pressured by the public. So they go and say, oh, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and now file these charges, even though, we probably should have filed them way before.
I wish we can get a Tamir Rice documentary. Yeah, I wish we can get a Tamir Rice documentary, man, and open up that case again and go get that officer. So just throwing it out there to the people that's listening.
Yeah, facts. Absolutely. As you and I were talking, the jury verdict came in for R. Kelly.
Not guilty. No.
Guilty on all counts.
I already know. Shit, you heard what I just said. They got to make an example of him. Now,
he's
that's
guilty
why,
on all counts, and he's actually facing life in prison at this point, depending on what the judge decides.
Well, he'll be but what they need to let him do like they done Epstein. Yeah, they let Epstein kill himself. That man can't go do that. Yeah. So they might as well give him the same benefit that they gave Epstein. Let somebody go in there and kill him. That's how they done, and say he killed himself. According to the medical examiner reports, that's what happened to Epstein. His Lazarus, whatever it was crushed so bad that there's no way he could have done that. That's what the medical report said. So, man, y'all do R. Kelly the same way, man. Take the man out of his misery. Y'all let him do it.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, there's like 3 other trials coming up, but if he's getting life in prison, it'll just be concurrent and it won't even matter.
Yeah. Boy, goddamn. Yeah, shit. Well, you got to be held accountable for what you do wrong. All of us do, man. So ain't no feeling sorry for him. Ain't no feeling bad for him. He couldn't read and write. Man, he knew what he was doing. He knew. And the sad thing about it, everybody knew. And the even sadder part about that, it happens all the time, and it's ignored and overlooked. Child sex trafficking happens all the time, man.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, like I said, between what he's facing with life in prison right now and the other 3 trials, there's a reasonable chance that R. Kelly will probably die in prison at this point. He will never do another concert outside these walls. He'll never breathe fresh air. He made his bed and he's lying in it right now. I mean, it is what it is. Well, since last time, you and Mob James had a altercation, argument, however you want to describe it.
Yeah. A stage wrestling match.
Well, I had Mob James on my show, which you saw from what I
Great
understand.
interview, by the way, man. Way to stay partial. Yeah. I like that.
Thank you. I try. Okay, so I just want to get this whole situation from your point of view because I got it from James's point of view.
Yeah.
So leading up to the argument, what exactly happened?
I had already been getting phone. Uncle Henny. I've never got no phone calls from nobody, right? Uncle Henny was already getting phone calls saying, man, he's saying this, he's saying that. Well, if anybody know me, can't nobody tell me nothing about what come out of my mouth, right? I think about my words and I choose my words very wisely. And I know the consequences for my words and the things I say. I know the consequences or what could be consequences of what I say, right? So I embrace my words. So about a week prior to that, I get a text message say, hey man, Mob James want to know, can he have your phone number? So I get it from one of my partners out there in California. So at first I said, no, he know how to get my number. Yeah, he know how to call Uncle Henny and get my number. So then I said, yeah, give it to him. So man, we have a real candid conversation about him trying to get me to understand that, man, there are gang members who do these good things in the community. And I'm saying on a big scale, we don't see it in the black community. Well, but it is. I don't see it. So if I don't see it, it don't exist. In my world, right? My perspective. Well, my brother died. Well, what about the people y'all killed? You telling me about your brother, but at this point, what about the people y'all killed? You got one brother who died. What about all the years of these people who y'all killed? So I've been able to evolve to that part of having empathy for whatever wrong I done toward people. So I'm saying, okay, James, if you not, so we having this conversation on the phone. So he literally breaks down and cry during this. So I see how emotional invested and how mentally stagnant these older guys are due to the post-traumatic stress disorder of having gone through all that years of gang violence, right? These guys are stunted in their mental growth. So when I see all that emotion, I say, okay, man, maybe I need to tighten up. Maybe I need to give them niggas some benefit of the doubt. So as I contemplate, man, why give them the benefit of the doubt? Why should we give the Crips and the Bloods? I don't care if their mama was a Crip and she died. Why would we give them the benefit of the doubt when they have way more victims who lay on this side? They've killed people, brothers. There are mothers that are still suffering from the death of their son. There are children who are walking around, so they never acknowledge that part. It's just my homies. I lost a homie to it. How many houses y'all shot up before y'all lost him? How many bodies do y'all have before y'all lost him? So they never acknowledge that. So I'm saying, man, fuck them niggas' feelings about that shit. So then, boom. 3 days prior to that, we have another conversation. We have another candid conversation. Now, not once, and it's heated exchange, but we both passionate about what we saying. And I'm saying, man, I don't see nothing wrong with what I'm saying, bro. My mama and them, my uncle and them, I can't think of no black person around here that was side with you guys. I can't think of nobody who was side with you guys, but gang members. So I'm not sympathetic to y'all, homie. So that's 2 days. So before he come, we have a podcast where I'm talking about it, right? I literally talk about it on the podcast. Yeah, me and Mob James had a conversation, and he said some real things. And so Uncle was like, hold on, no, we'll say that for the podcast. He'll be on here Thursday, and we'll talk about all that. So we already know when he get here, me and him, this gonna make for good podcast talk. So don't forget, we all got a podcast streaming. So everybody playing for streaming. Everybody playing for streaming. So every podcast is just like here. We have the camera set up here. We have couches. So what I do, I sit my phone right there so I capture all 3 guests, right? So every podcast I do that. So everybody looking at me can see that phone looking at them. So they ain't like the phone hidden, but it's a little arm thing that when I go to moving, it knocks it down, right? But I'm gonna always position it back up, right? So if you sit next to me, so everybody looking at me when I'm talking, go see that phone recording right there. You can't miss it. So it ain't like nobody was hidden record. And plus, I do this to capture my own footage. I ain't gonna let digital soapbox media have all the footage. So shit, I'm gonna capture my own footage, shit, right? And it's gonna be hully-gully. I don't edit, I record on the floor. So when he get there, I already know, so I already get word he bringing somebody with him. I know Ray Shawna. I met Ray Shawna years before at the Nipsey funeral. I already know they feeling some kind of way about what I done said. It done got back. Everybody done sent me messages. Everybody from California calling. I'm saying the same thing. I'm not changing my position, homie. Look at what we done destroyed in 50 years. How in the fuck can y'all be saying I'm saying something wrong, homie? So Unc always a mediator. So Mob James come down here to work with kids because of me. Uncle JoJo having that event put together because I'm marketing and promoting it. Uncle Henny working with kids because of me. Nobody can get inside of a juvenile facility out here without me. Mob James, none of them. You see what I'm saying? So I put together a spring break, a week-long spring break program in the Dallas Youth Village, something that's never happened before. During the coronavirus, they let us do a virtual spring break program where I brought in Mob James, FBG Duck's mom, Bugatti Casino, MC. So I'm bringing in celebrities to these kids. These niggas can't do this shit without me because this is what I do without them. They're not bringing me on their platform. I'm bringing all them on my platform. When you hear attorney Mitch Note, who work on capital murder and death penalty cases, he's coming on there because he and I work on these cases together. When you hear the mitigation specialists, all these people are coming on this podcast because of me. Right? So I'm orchestrating all this. So nobody in California is hipping. Them niggas ride my coattail. They ain't working with kids. They ain't got, but they're attaching their names to it. So he come down here to do this event, to get footage, to help Gangster Chronicles, as if they really working with kids. So they got the cameras there, right? So when he come do the studio, I had just bought me an AR-15 pistol. Just bought me a brand new AR-15 pistol, been at the gun range shooting it. I ride around like this. I keep one on my side, this Texas. Only time I don't carry a gun is when I come to a VladTV interview. I don't bring no gun with me. So, but at that studio is full of all the little local young rappers. So everybody in there walking around with a gun. So not only am I there with one, I got partners there. Mob James don't know nobody in this building. So he ain't coming to do nothing. And the whole thing is we coming to work with kids, help with the thing. He go talk to the kids, right? So everything went bad at the podcast during the interview because I was saying, no. I was saying, man, I ain't trying to hear that. I ain't want to hear nothing. Because I had already told him, if they press me about this, everybody in California go be mad at me. I had already told him, say, homie, if any one of them niggas try to question me, the whole state of California go be mad at me. They kill black people, homie. They don't even speak to each other. But guess what? Charleston White have came along and made the Crips and Bloods come together and unite in unison, and nobody's been able to do that. I did. They all came together to hate Charleston. So I'm beating on my chest saying, man, I got a whole state talking about me. So when it go bad, this how it go bad, right? He steady telling me, well, man, if I was still gangbanging, I'll do this to you. I'm saying, man, I got my gun right here. You won't do a motherfucking thing to me. I had already seen his shirt was unbuttoned. I seen him when he came out in the car. I was sitting in the car. My other nigga was sitting in the car right there. We seen him walk to the car and get the gun. We seen him. He don't know nobody. He in a blind situation. He don't know nobody. He ain't never been to this building. He ain't never been around nobody in this building. And it's over 30 people in this building. And I'm now, man, ain't nobody gonna let nothing happen to me. Man, I walk around this city like I can't be, like I'm untouchable. Every day. So ain't now person, now nigga, now motherfucker out of California go come down here and do a motherfucking thing to me. They better get permission. And they can't even get permission. So it go bad because he telling me I'm a grown man, homie. We got judges. We got district attorneys. We got senators. We got real congressmen watch mine because they know the work, right? That's the professional Charleston. He telling me what he'll do to me. Man, if I was still homie, you won't do nothing to me, homie. So when I jump up and say, man, y'all really think y'all bad. Y'all California niggas think y'all really, that's when we was boys. Y'all came out of California when we didn't know nothing about you nigga when we were kids. Now we grown. Can't no nigga from California, Mob James, Monster, nobody come down here and shake no ground, nigga. I play dirty, right? So he get on, so I'm gonna get to this in a minute. So when I jump up and say, man, y'all, I'm finna walk out and say, man, fuck these California niggas. I say, man, y'all niggas think y'all the baddest motherfucking niggas in the world. So I see him look at the camera. I already know if you stand up on a nigga like any nigga from the streets, you can't stand up on. I already knew that, right? So, man, my gun over there. Man, my niggas them ain't finna let nothing happen to me. And if something happen to me, boy, when I get to that car, you niggas ass in trouble. I'm a disabled community activist with one eye. Don't let the internet shit fool you. I'm still disabled, so nigga, if you do something to me, your charges magnified, and I got way more rule to self-defend. So when he jumped up, when he jumped up, I said, ooh, I got him. Because all I've been wanting him to do is throughout that whole arc, I said, James, if you ain't gangbanging, why what I'm saying bother you? Why you keep putting yourself in it, James? Why you keep putting yourself? And he said, this is what he said. You are now another motherfucker can't get me to go back to being the old Mob James. I ain't screamed Pyru and since 1980-something. And then 3 minutes later, me and him was standing nose to nose. So when you hear my voice lower down, me and his lips was touching. Yeah, I think I'm bad too, Mob. Yeah, James, I think I'm bad. Our lips was touching. Nose to nose, forehead to forehead. He didn't push me, he didn't headbutt me, he didn't do nothing. That was off camera. Then they got between us. Sat right back down to him and said, nah, I'm still the same position. Still the same position, homie. He say, well, what have Crippin' Bloods done to you? What have it done to us? You talking about your brother Buntry, how many people you beat up on behalf of Suge Knight now? How many innocent working square people y'all bullied out of money? So you mad at what I'm saying? Them niggas killed your brother. Them niggas killed your brother, nigga. You still screaming, I'm Mob James Pyru. I think I'm bad. Aha, I thought you say you wasn't with it. I wish y'all could have saw the shame in his eyes. When I said, say you want it. I thought you say you wasn't with it, James. You done come all the way from California to Texas with a gun on you in a studio full of people with guns. And you got a grandbaby back home and you want me to say I want it. You finna throw it away like that, huh, James? You want me to believe you finna throw it away like that, James? I want to show you it's still there, James. It's still in your heart. You still what you try to denounce that you are. That's why you wear the P hat. That's why you showed up in the Pyru colors to represent Pyru. And I just wanted to show the people. I just wanted to show the district attorneys. I just wanted to show the people who work on these cases that it's in their heart. And some of them need to be sent away for life. So when I hear him get on your platform and say he traveled through all them states as a convicted felon with a gun on him, say, man, hey, man, can I get this nigga? He didn't brandish the gun, Charleston, so we don't know if he had a gun or not. Man, I sure want to put his ass in jail, dumb motherfucker. You go get on VladTV and say you traveled through all them states with a gun on you as a convicted felon. Man, I made all kind of phone calls to try to get him.
What, you made phone calls to try to get Mob James arrested?
Yeah. He confessed that he traveled as a convicted felon. As old as he is. I had my gun. I come down here to do this. Man, you stupid, nigga, yeah. Man, I'm a dirty motherfucker. I don't like no nigga like that. I don't like gang members, and he a gang member from what I see. I want all of them to go to jail. They don't do nothing but kill us. They ain't never stood up for nothing or nobody in our race. And when they get to jail, they say, okay, buddies, we know we used to kill each other now, but they got us in the tank with 8 Mexicans, 7 white boys, and it's 4 niggas. So we got to stick together. And soon they get back on the streets, they back killing each other. How cowardly can that be? So I stand totally against anything that's against us. And the Crips and Bloods is our greatest enemy. In 50 years, it has killed more black people than the Ku Klux Klan. It has done more damage than slavery.
Okay, I'm not going to say he did more damage than slavery.
Listen.
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to have to put my foot down on that one.
They woke up every day to enslave us with hate in their hearts. What are gangs doing? They enslaved the community. At least they fed the slaves. They don't even feed their communities.
Right, but not every black person's a gang member. At one point, every black person in America
below
the Mason-Dixon line was a slave.
Every black person have been oppressed by the Crips and the Bloods. Every black person have had some type of oppressed, killing, murdered, been bullied by the Crips or the Bloods. I'm telling you that as a black person. Tookie used to take the youth worker snack lunches and smash the apples on their head. They started out bullying the community. They never stopped. So it's been nothing good in 50 years. They don't have a foundation. They don't have a tie shop, no laundry mats. They don't have nothing but death and destruction. So I'm saying, how they hadn't been worse than slavery. At least at one point they let the slaves free. They ain't even freed us from it yet. If you go in their neighborhoods, you gotta submit to them. You can't just be normal. You can't be a square kid. You got to be what they are. You can't play the violin. You can't play tennis. Why you think out of every gang, everybody got to be a shooter or a killer? He might just be a drum major. He might just need to play the drums. He might just need to shoot basketball. He know how to work on cars. He know how to put the radios and he know how to hook up the sound system. But they'll take the kid who know how to change tires and fix all and make him a shooter and a killer. So they make everybody shooters and killers. They don't raise bank executives. They don't raise psychiatrists and psychologists. So in my eyes, working in the community as a man who sit in the witness stand on capital murder and death penalty cases for gang members, they have done more destruction in 50 years than slavery did to us.
Well, you yourself was gang affiliated at one point, right?
I joined in a boys' home with boys and girls in it. With boys and girls in it. We fought Mexicans, we fought each other. Never gang banged on the streets. And before I went to the boys' home, I never knew nothing about gang banging other than the movie Colors. So I wasn't in no, man, what, I was at a gang. Man, I ain't never kicked nobody while they was on the ground while we was in the boys' home. None of our fights lasted longer than a minute.
Well, to be fair, though, the reason why you went to prison is because you were affiliated with a group of boys who ended up killing somebody.
A white man.
Right.
A white man. We was taught to hurt white people. I was raised, you wake up and you go across the railroad tracks and steal a car. So from the time I began to commit crimes, it's been predicated toward white people. We went and broke into white people's houses. We went trick-or-treating in white people's neighborhoods. We snatched old white women purses. So we preyed on white people. I never looked at a black person and say, let's get them until gangs came along. It's always been a white person. We was taught that. You rob a white store. You snatch a white woman purse. You do a white girl bad. So we was taught that. You get a white friend, you mistreat him. You steal his food, you take his Nintendo game, don't give him back. So we was taught that, our uncles, our granddaddies. I was taught that. This is before gang banging. It was no fight your brother. We used to have to put a stick on our shoulder and say, knock the stick down before fight. We used to go around in circle and say, hit me first with our shoulder. We didn't get on top of each other and punch each other back when I grew up. That was unheard of to see two black persons kicking one black person. That was unheard of to see that. So to be fair to me, man, we grew up wanting to hurt white people for revenge. We Southern babies. We Southern babies. So the high school football game is us fighting white boys. It's us fighting Mexicans. Everything is racial down here. In the 80s and 70s, going into the 90s. So when I commit my crime, it's 4 black kids who kill a white man. 2 days later, it's 3 skinheads who kill a black man. So it's the okay, you got the white kids kill a black man, you got the 4 kids kill a white man. We don't know nothing about gangs until I go into that juvenile system.
Well, after the interview that, you and Mob James had the altercation in, Mob said that the next day you guys spoke on the phone.
And he apologized.
Okay, that's good.
And I accept his apology.
He lying. We ain't spoke on the phone. From what I was told, when he stormed off the stage and went to his car, he called and said, man, I'm sorry. That's what I was told. Could have been told anything. Man, he was sorry. He really didn't mean it. He was embarrassed. Man, the old him woo. So that's what I was told. So the following day, we got the event out there at the summer camp, right? So I'm there Friday, I ain't gonna be there Saturday. So we see each other at the camp. I see them sitting over there. We real standoffish. They ain't fucking with the kids. I'm engaging the kids. Hey, man, get y'all ass down. Say, nigga, stop. Get from up on that goddamn bed. Say, boy, what you doing? So I'm engaging the kid. They just sitting down over there with the camera, waiting for the camera crew. They playing for the camera props. I'm engaging the kids. So they there for hours. They still sitting right there. I'm engaging the kids. When it's time to do the bonfire, then me and him say something to each other. Hey, what's up, man? Shit, everything cool. Yeah, man, shit, you gonna be in the dunk tank tomorrow? Nah, I ain't gonna be here. Well, shit, man, so we helped set the bonfire. So, in my mind, everything cool. Shit, hey, you know, in my mind, everything cool. I don't know the intent of everything till the cameras come out, right? So from what I was told, I think the next day I was told, yeah, man, VladTV done already called, tried to do an interview with Mob James. He told him, nah, man, he just trying to be messy. So that's what I was told, right? They shunned Vlad. This ain't got nothing to do with you. This ain't got none of this is what I'm told, nigga. So I done been told a lot of things. I don't know if it's true. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. So that Friday night, things go bad at the camp where I said, say, homie, I'm not attaching my name to this. The staff-student ratio is all the way off. You're leaving yourself open for a liability. You got teenage boys mixed with these boys. You can't do that, homie. You got little boys getting up under the bed together. No, niggas, hey, what y'all doing up under that bed? So you got to supervise these kids. You picking kids up out the hood. I've been doing this for 10 years. You got to have more than passion when you're dealing with children. You got to have structure. You got to have discipline. You see what I'm saying? So you picking kids up out the streets, man, fresh out the streets. So you know they coming from traumatic situations. So now, man, so my eyes is keen for things others' eyes ain't keen for. So I pull out. Nah, homie, I don't want nothing to do with this. It's not enough structure and somebody go get hurt. These little niggas want to fight. They busting noses. They trying to fucking fight, try to do everything. So now they need supervision. So I don't come back the next day. I call everybody and say, hey, homie, I'm not attaching myself to this because my credibility too good, homie, in this city. So if some guy come out of nowhere, he in town for a book signing. We don't know he in town for a book signing. He see the Mob James situation, it's going viral. So he take a chance to capitalize on the Mob James situation. And he go to the internet and present as if him and Mob James came down here to check me, green light me, discipline me for speaking how I'm speaking against the gangs, right? So he called to interview Anthony Dewberry. They say, yeah, but we don't want to talk about Charleston. Charleston don't want to interview. So he do an interview with them, not asking nothing about Charleston. He do an interview with Mob James. And man, if we was in prison, I'd do this to him. So I'm thinking, well, shit, I thought it was cool. Yeah, I thought it was cool. Really, they don't know this was really staged. We played for the cameras. All this was for iHeartRadio and digital soapbox media. Truth be told, save it for when you get here. They know when they put me in, they already know this finna do this here. Man, they had everything set up, the big bright lights, everything. So, man, I'm getting them what they asked for. I just know how to push them buttons because I know they faking. You want to come down here before children and talk to these children as if you don't still have that in you. As a man, if I've been delivered from whatever, there's nothing that convicts me. Crip, slob, crap, man, I'm done with that. It wouldn't bother me. Because I know many who have walked that same path are not affected by nothing I say. So when he do the interview with them dudes, so I'm like, hey, who is this dude coming down here talking about all y'all came down here to check me. Nah, man, y'all got me fucked and y'all got my people fucked up, nigga. So now I'm looking at, say, Dewberry, man, who is this nigga you done this interview with? Nah, bro, these niggas tripping. Nah, they on stage. Nah, who they think they gonna come down here and Big Cali look to? Nah, they not finna do that. Nobody finna co-sign that shit, huh? Them niggas, them the 90s. And plus, them niggas too old. They don't want that. So you got one of them saying he done traveled through all these states with a gun. You got one of them just coming home from the feds in the airplane saying he came to Texas to check me on gang shit. Man, who is federal parole officer? Man, let me call my gang unit buddy. These niggas don't know. Man, I've got congressmen on speed dial. Man, me and the mayor talk. These are street thugs. They done got tricked into my character thinking, man, I'm not a street thug. Man, I've been 20 years, I don't have no felony convictions. I just got through teaching a class at the University of Texas, man. So these street thugs, man, say, I'll put them in jail. Well, look and see what can we do to that Mob James dude. And what about that other guy? They go to cleaning that shit up then. No, man, they playing gangster. I watched all the trilogy of Godfather, and I know you gotta have connections in the police department. You gotta have connection with politicians. You gotta have connections to a judge. So they ain't got them connections. Man, I'm gonna use all my connections against these gangbangers threatening me against my free speech. Against my free speech. But every day, they disrespect the community. They disrespect the other people's sets that they hate. So come on, homie. Get off the internet listening to me. So now at this point, I'm saying I don't want nothing to do with Gangster Chronicles no more. Game related, not gang related is my name. I came up with it. It's trademark. I don't want to be up under their umbrella no more. They numbers ain't as big as mine no way. I got the bigger name. Matter of fact, he done an interview on Mob James done an interview on VladTV and wouldn't even mention our podcast. But they come be in the juvenile detention center with us. They come bring their cameras with us and talk to the kids as if they really do this in real life. Now, when you see me getting them kids out the juvenile systems and we go to the shopping center over there at Boss Talk clothing store, you don't see none of them with me and them kids. You don't see none of them with me and Miss King. So you think the people from the juvenile center, Miss King and all the juvenile workers go, let them come back here? They didn't even want them there the next day when he came back. Because they say they just here for the cameras. JoJo said, man, they just here for the cameras, man. But he needed help. He didn't have enough supervision. They faking and shaking for the cameras. When the cameras go off, I still do this, homie. In Texas, I ain't never got to leave here. I'm very successful here. And we ain't letting nobody that's playing for digital soapbox media come down here, homie, and try to stir up something, homie, as if I can't speak against gang violence.
Well, I could tell you, right when that happened, I didn't speak to Mob James or anyone else like that. It was roughly a week later after everything had settled down. And that's when Mob James and I spoke and we talked about getting on the show. They
didn't want me to interview with you. They didn't want me. See, for one, they hated that video got out. That's why they tried to make it seem like, now normally what I do is I cut it off so they don't get much of it. Then they have to go to the podcast and look at it. I just got caught up in the moment there. They did not want that to get out. They wanted me to delete that so bad. They didn't want to air the episode because it embarrasses him. That's the professional crowd. Instagram and YouTube go be your uneducated thugs and gangbangers on there, but the professional crowd of society is on them airwaves listening, and they didn't want that. He didn't, because what it shows is those guys can't let it go. They can't let it go. It takes a real spirit of God to have killed people. And have had people killed on your side to lay that down and purge and cleanse yourself of that wrong. They haven't purged their souls. That's why they can't stop wearing the P hat. That's why every time you see them, they got that Pyru hat on, man. That's why when they get mad, they put the colors on. And if they get mad enough, I'm Mob James Pyru. I think I walk on, it comes out. Because what's in a man's heart comes out of his mouth. And if I know you keep poking that barrel, what's in there gonna come out?
Well, I'll be honest, as someone that has done multiple interviews with the both of you and someone who has respect for both you and Mob James, me personally, I felt embarrassed for the both of you because here are two grown, intelligent, mature men who are up in each other's faces like they're in high school still.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
that's the way I saw it. That's the way I saw it.
Yeah. I ain't no mature man at all. I'm a damn fool when you go to fucking with me. So if I'm standing 10 feet away from you, how you gonna feel threatened? And you say my size. How you gonna feel threatened? I'm 10 feet away from you. I ain't up in your face. I'm at the edge of the stage. You walked to me. I just didn't back down. So you walk. So at this point, you done walked up on me. So at this point, you wrong, nigga. Hold on. I'm not posing no threat to you.
Yeah.
And listen to the words as you saying this. I'm Mob James Pyru. It ain't no, well, nigga, what's up? No, you confessing and professing now. So my job was complete at that point. To show my audience. Look at these, this what I've been telling y'all about. To show my audience. He ain't before his audience, that's my audience. They're being for me. I wanted to show them that. So man, I'm not mature at all. I'm a little bitty dude with one eye. And I got little man syndrome. And I think I'm bad. I'm an oxymoron when you go to fucking with me.
Well, I hope the both of y'all at one point work it out.
I don't never want to work it out. Yeah, I don't never want to work it out with no gang banging ass.
It is what it is. Both of y'all grown men. Y'all create your own.
I don't want to work it. Listen, if you pass 25 years old with a gang banger mind, I don't want to work nothing out with you. I want to sit on the jury and say, life without parole, and being there convincing the white folks that having a bleeding heart for you not to have one for you. I'm working against them. I don't want to be friends with no gangbanger, a 50-year-old granddaddy with a Pyru hat on. He can't wear no other kind of hat but a P. I don't want to befriend that. That's why I don't want nothing to do with that. I'm the nigga in the neighborhood saying, who y'all don't want to tell on who done it? Give me the name. I'll make the call. I want to rid our communities of the Crips and the Bloods. I want to rid them. So and I told Mob James, he said, you don't want to be against me. I said, if you with that, I am. If you with that, I'm against you. You or whoever. Nipsey Hussle, whoever. If you are representing that and that's coming off your lips, I am against you. And if you come anywhere in this village where there are mature thinking black people, nobody is on the side with the Crips and the Bloods.
Well, on your Instagram, you had posted something about Larry Hoover.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
I received that via, through an email, and just acting on some. I made some phone call, and not knowing that one of those calls we could submit like a claims or you can put something forward to make requests to have him maybe not released, but taken out of 23, 24-hour lockdown conditions. And I just stumbled on that, man. So yeah, that's why I posted it on there. The first number I called was the governor's office. And they was kind of real shitty, but hey, the governor can't do anything. He can't release him. And anyway, he's in Colorado. So, oh, okay, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. So the next number I called with a little bit more professionalism, and discovered that if we all call that second number, they'll be forced to have to consider week by week, day by day, month by month, to let almost an 80-year-old man out of 23-hour lockdown conditions. How much of a threat can he be at this point?
Right. He's currently 70 years old, He's in ADX Florence, which is a supermax. And like you said, 23-hour lockdown, 1 hour
He can't even
free
talk.
time.
He can't even talk. He can't talk to nobody but a prison guard. He can't even hold a conversation. So him and other inmates cannot have no signs of communication. They can't wink at each other. They can't do nothing. Man, god damn. Shit. ADX prison on the world stage have been deemed by all world experts as being, man, completely inhumane. Man, but hey, nobody can do anything, seems like. It's the government's prison.
Well, how is it, though, that you speak about gang members, Crips and Bloods, in a certain type of way, where you have Larry Hoover, who was the founder of the Gangster Disciples? He's in prison for a murder, I believe multiple murders. And this is not me trying to condemn Larry Hoover, because I think at this point Larry Hoover should be free.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to see the mentality in terms of your view towards people associated with gangs. Why is it that certain people get condemned, but Larry Hoover you want free?
I condemn the old fools. Man. Still telling the stories, but won't tell the whole story. At some point, Tookie Williams started writing children's books. What they don't tell us is Tookie totally denounced the Crips. After Lil Fee tried to stab him, he totally denounced Crips. And went on what you hear me say and Anthony Dewberry say all the time. This is what redemption looked like. That's where I got that word from. Wasn't his movie called Redemption that Jamie Foxx played in? Mm-hmm. I saw that movie in my teens, in my late teens. That word caught my mind. Redemption, right? Redeemed. So that should be the path of every gang member. I don't see the redeemed paths. I see niggas still on the set days talking that talk. But man, he wrote children's books. He got a Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, that's right. Tookie. That's Tookie for the Crips. Now let's look at Larry. Larry, at some point, began evolving mentally, began maturing mentally, began redeeming, purging himself, right? We ain't gangster disciples no more. We go say, man, growth and development. Then he began writing literature and teachings, code of conduct and ethics. If people would follow, would bring structure to the village. Not only that, he had a mind to push these underprivileged children into civic duties of engaging in politics. So as you grow older, as I become a man, I put away my boyish things, not the Crips and the Bloods. When they become men, it's like they got the mental retardation of when they first started. The bravo-ness, it's like they don't evolve. It's like they don't grow. So when you look at the concepts and the principles of these two pivotal images, men of the Crips and the Gangster Disciples, man, okay, y'all, let's strive to be like them if y'all gonna be anything. But nobody's doing that. It's a body for a body. So I'm saying we have to destroy the images and let's look at the men. Tookie is an image at this point. Stanley Williams is a man who wrote children's books that reached way over to London and the UK and all of that. Man, you see what I'm saying? So he gave us an example of what they should strive to be like. Look up to Chicago. Man, the old man is saying growth and development, but ain't nobody listening to the old man because the old man words don't get the young people ears.
Well, yeah, I interviewed Don Dirk, who was the co-founder of the Black Disciples.
Very powerful interview, by the way. Very powerful interview.
You watched it?
Yeah,
you watched
very
it. Okay.
powerful.
Thank you. And, and his whole thing was when I talked about the whole split between the Gangster Disciples and the Black Disciples, he was like, there was really no split.
The truth of things is a lot of rumors out here, and that's all you keep hearing. We split. We ain't never split. Even though some of the disciples and gangsters are fighting today, We don't know where that comes from. That didn't come from us. But what I do know is when the government took our leadership away and other leaders, things fell like they fell.
It's the rappers that are pushing this whole BDK, GDK, smoking ops, smoking Tooka, whatever else. He's like, when you look at the old school guys, they're all still united. They're still trying to push, growth and development. They're trying to push, community. They're trying to get the hospital not to close down. They're trying to get the communities worked out. Don Dirk doesn't stand on a, platform of violence anymore. Although he does have a very violent past, he actually went to prison for a murder, murdering one of his enemies, one of the enemy gangs during a party that went bad. But he's not on that anymore. And you're right. He even talked about the respect he has for Larry Hoover and everything else like that. But yeah, I mean, it is an interesting type of thing that as you get older, you don't want to push the violence. You don't want to push the destruction.
At some point, you begin purging the things that you've done wrong in life. At some point in your life, it's going to begin to weigh in on you. Whether that's looking at your children and the conditions that you have to raise them in, if that's looking at your grandchildren, if that's looking at your life and where you're at maybe 30, 40, 50. So at some point, you begin self-reflecting at this shit. And if you done what most gang members done, there has to be some type of purge that takes place inside of you. Man, that's why these guys are so quick to be violent. That's why, because they haven't purged, right? So let me show you what purge look like. Man, my brother been in prison going on 30 years. My co-defendant in prison for 30 years. I just got a letter from him today. Man, they sorry for what they done. Man, I feel like I'm suffering for something that I done as a kid. I'm sorry. I won't ever do it again. But when they sit down before the parole board, and on the inside, they really feel bad, man. They have remorse. You think them people care? That's what purging, and you still have to go back and feel sorry for what you did. You still have to go back and show these people, man, I ain't just gonna go back to being the old me because I've really changed. You still have to wrestle so nothing can trigger what we saw on that stage. Nothing, man, when you purge, nothing can get you to go back there. So that's what I know. I wake up and I sleep. I work with people who have murdered. And I see the ones that won't ever hurt nobody again unless you bother these people. And then I see the ones that still wrestling with the demons, that haven't all the way unplugged from the guilt, the shame, from whether it's a homeboy, brother, they still wrestle with that. Get drunk, they might hurt somebody around them. Say the wrong thing, I'll break your jaw. So that's why he wanted to remind me what he would do to me. Man, you gotta purge. So the anniversary of the crime we committed was September 18th, 1991. Say, homie, I purge every year. I purge every year. Because I know I've paid my debt to society, but man, I owe a debt to that victim. So I do the work that I do because I know at some point that killer as a kid changes. I know at some point, man, I know what he looked like. I tell the jury, I know what he looked like right now, man. But I promise at some point, he gonna be valuable to us. Don't give him life.
Well,
so let me just add this point. So when I see the 40 and 50-year-olds, the monster Codys, when I see all of these bam bam guys coming home from prison after doing 30, 40 years, 20 years, and they bringing their heyday back to us. Yeah, we the first original this. And that's all they can talk about is back then. They can't say, hey, this is what I'm doing now in the community. This is what I have to offer now to the community. You can't find none of them that's doing something now that's valuable and meaningful to the community that gives them the path to be redeemed.
Well, the man that got killed, the situation that you were in 30 years ago, he has family members.
Yeah.
He had a mother, a father that may or may not have been alive at the time. Was he an older man or a
Nah, he was a
middle-aged
young
man?
guy.
Or?
Yeah, he was in his early 30s. He was like 31.
Okay, in his early 30s. Did he have kids?
No kids.
No kids. Siblings?
Oh, yeah, he had a sister. Yeah, he had a sister.
Okay. But he also had friends, and he probably had cousins and, aunts and uncles and people who loved him and so forth. Have you ever come into any level of contact with any of his relatives or his friends?
No, they was from out of state, so he had just moved down there, man, and met his fiance. So they really had no ties to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So no, I hadn't crossed paths with nobody. I think for a long time, his sister, she protested my co-defendant, and at this point, she's not protesting no more. Man, we trying to get him out of there. 30 years is something you done at the age of 15, 16 years old. Man, I stand before, I do a lot of conference speaking, right? So I stand before these people and say, man, it don't take 20, 30 years of punishment to teach someone something. It takes the right environment. So at some point, these guys grow up in prison, and whether they had to fight to get there, whether they had to kill to get there, at some point throughout their prison term, they end up in the right environment to begin to change. Whether that's in isolation confinement, whether that's in a GED class. But as a kid, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, there's no way that you can go to prison and begin working on rehabilitation. So what happens is these guys are punished for their first years of being children in prison trying to survive. So when they get grown men, they looking at that old record. So when you come home and you come back to our communities and you on these YouTube platforms and you talking gang this and crip this and come on, homie, you just come home. And what you guys keep forgetting is I've been in this community every day for 10 years. I have not taken a break. So when you come at me, I'm saying, man, where y'all been at? When I wasn't talking like this, when I wouldn't say this, when I wouldn't say the word nigga on no camera, I wouldn't say it publicly, I wouldn't offend white people. I wouldn't dare offend white people. I wouldn't have dare offend black people. I was so articulate. But I see what we need. Like Tupac say, you peep the weakness in the rap game and exploit it. I sat back on this internet and I said, okay, how do we, Dr. King today wouldn't have a big following. Malcolm wouldn't have a big following. NBA YoungBoy have a big following. Dirk have a big following. So if you want the ears of those people, how do you get that? You talk like them, you look like them. So that's why Don Dirk and his elder crew of growth and development men have such a hard time reaching the youth. They don't have their ears. Guess what? Charleston White came in and got their ears, talking like the old Southern grandmother and grandfather. Shut up, boy, if you don't get your dumb ass out of here asking them dumb ass questions. Say, boy, get your funk ass in the bathtub, funky motherfucker. So the old Southern talk, the old Dolomite talking, that's all I did. They got stuck on the character. They got stuck on the character. And man, I'm gonna take the character overboard. I'm gonna take it overboard because I see it's effective now. We got peace in California. They coming together for Charleston White. I'm so proud of that. I ain't bullshit, boy. I'm so proud.
Well, speaking of NBA YoungBoy, you talked about how his fans are trying to petition Biden to free him.
Little crazy motherfuckers. Yeah, let him do his time. He ain't been gone long.
I mean, he hasn't even been convicted, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can't really free someone that hasn't been convicted that's awaiting trial, right?
Listen.
Am I right about that?
Say, listen, don't all the NBA YoungBoy fans is gun toting, gun shooting, fighting tough little motherfuckers. He rap about it. So what I'm saying is, we don't need to free him. He need to go through what he go through and show us he about what he rap about. Everybody else had to do it. Everybody else had to do it. So why he need to be freed? But what that goes to show you, man, these young people are not ready for what they think they really ready for on that journey. On that journey. We've seen them get a whole lot of little young rappers in the last year or two. Just like the feds is rounding up young rappers. And all they and it's like they disappearing. Man, we ain't seeing Pooh Shiesty. Man, we ain't hearing nothing about them, no reports, no nothing. They sending a message. They sending a message. And I keep saying this, at this point in our community, man, we need a new crime bill. Gun violence in the black community at this point, we need a new crime bill. We need new crime bill legislation it won't stop it, but I believe it can curb it. We need some strict, hard, tough, stricken laws for gun violence and gun crimes.
Well, SpotemGottem recently got shot. I guess he was in really bad shape, but ultimately he survived.
He made a song after he got shot?
I'm not sure.
I think so. He couldn't have been in bad shape.
You might be right. I'm not sure.
I
He
think
got shot 5 times. He got shot 5 times. I mean, he was also wanted in terms of a questioning of a murder that happened in 2020 in Dallas. I mean, the whole thing just sounds like a mess and a train wreck on a lot of different levels. And my man Sean Cotton from Say Cheese TV actually signed him.
Yeah.
I remember during our last interview, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get you an interview with SpotemGottem," and then everything went bad. Like right after he told me that, before the interview actually even happened. And you've spoken about SpotemGottem.
Oh. Yeah, man. That's the bunny hop dance used to get me. I started seeing the guys in prison doing his little dance, and I thought that was the weirdest shit. They done killed to go to jail to dance. Typically, where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire. What we're looking at now is, in order for most of our young rappers to be big and big in the rap industry, they have to engage in behaviors where people died and get shot. That's what it seemed like. That's like the requirement now. Where are these powerful people like Jay Prince and them, Jay-Z and them, that can put together a summit? These powerful voices that can put together a summit, go state to state like a concert in the name of stop the violence. Where is the music industry? Where are the music labels that can say, okay, man, we done made trillions of dollars off these catastrophes. Man, let's put a campaign together. Where are these people? Man, we dancing to the death of it. Our young people have been so desensitized to rappers being killed, it don't even bother us no more. It don't even bother us no more. And rap beef now is the new street beef. It ain't gang violence. It's men. The gangs are getting a rapper. The gangs got a rapper now, and the rappers and not only do they have rappers, they're really making self-confessions in these lyrics. These young people are actually committing these crimes and coming back in the studio and leaving trails and puzzles to these crimes. And man, ain't nobody saying nothing. Where are the Where are the victim groups? Where's the Me Too movement for gangster rap? Where are the mothers who can band together, the mothers who have lost their children to gun violence, and where are the mothers? Man, we're so divided. Let me just say this. If we ever think of a revolution for black people, rap music is our last line of defense. It's our last line of defense because that's was the whole intent, to revolutionize the youth. But if the youth, if all our young people are standing around just looking at each other saying, I kill you, I kill you, all of them, that's all they saying to each other. None of them is saying, hey, let's collaborate. So what's happening is nobody in these cities really can make it because all the good rappers is shooting at each other. And so the industry's saying, God damn, man, what we gonna do? Nobody want to have shows. So the ship is sinking, Vlad. The ship is sinking for us. So, it has to be something from within. And what do I mean by from within? Man, Jay-Z now, just like he went over there to the NFL and done something with the Super Bowl, and he got to come over here and they got to address this. They got to address it, man. So, that's where I'm at with that.
Well, recently Kanye, there's a song that leaked where Kanye is claiming gangster disciple.
Yeah, I heard it.
And one of the funniest things I'd ever heard was Freddie Gibbs went on Twitter and called Kanye GD Jakes.
It sounds like a laughable accusation. But I can call my phone right now to Chicago and they'll co-sign it. And they'll say that's why he was going to the president and behind the cameras whispering on behalf of the old man. That's why him and Kim Kardashian. So that's what I get coming out of Chicago on behalf of Kanye. And I'm not a Kanye fan, never have been. But when I heard, and this come from credible GDs, so, man, they've been trying for a long time to get some kind of artist to go whisper on behalf of Larry Hoover, and he's the first one to ever do that at the White House.
Right.
So he's endorsed. He's done something that will make them say he's one of us. I get it sometime. I've sent some things up there to give aid to some youth during some shootings. And when I call up there, I get embraced. Those people, when shit happened at the bottom, everybody's afraid because they know children are gonna die. The people at the bottom, walking to the store, standing on the bus stop, we from a far distance, but man, those people are terrified when this shit is jumping off. Who comes in and gives aid to the American black people who are being wiped away from genocide? Tupac rapped about it. Now look at it now. Look at it now, man.
I mean, part of my interview with Don Dirk was talking about the Yummy Sandifer situation, which Tupac was very moved by, to the point of, if you look at his prison interview, he had a picture of Yummy's mugshot behind him, and when he performed,
almost got himself killed.
Yeah, he ended up like basically screaming at the black disciples, saying like, y'all allow this to happen and so forth. And for those that don't know, Yummy Sandifer, who was a black disciple at 11 years old,
so say he was a terror.
I'm sorry?
They say he was a terror. He was a stick-up kid. Yeah,
he was a terror. This is true. And, you know, he was sent to go shoot at a rival. He ended up shooting a little girl whose father was, you know, a notable gang leader as well. And then his own people basically had to go, well, didn't have to go, but his own people went and actually executed him at 11 years old. And we talked about that with Don. And it was one of these situations where suddenly you had these gangs that were somewhat local and relatively low key suddenly became international.
Yummy became what you would call something for the news media, the newspaper, to continue make money off of.
He was on the cover of Time magazine. Yummy Sandifer was the picture of Chicago gang violence. Honestly, to this day,
Yeah.
we're still talking about it.
Yeah. That's if white people had done that, that would be our Emmett Till.
Yeah.
That if white people had done that, that Yummy would be our Emmett Till.
Correct.
He was a reflection of his community. He wasn't a bad kid, but somewhere down the line, someone had showed him some bad things. He had seen it, he had heard it, he had witnessed it, and you begin to reflect and take on the environment in order to survive.
Right. He was 11. Like, I'm trying to think what intelligent things I had done by 11 years old, and it's really not that many. You know what I mean?
I was still looking up at the sky for Santa Claus on Christmas Eve at 11.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I still thought the
Exactly.
Tooth Fairy was coming at 11.
True.
So what does that say about our community? There should be a level of outrage at this point. I don't know what it'll take, but no other race is affected like this when you think in terms of gun violence. No other race of people is turning the guns on each other in the manner and at the rate of which we're doing. And it's an epidemic. And right now, it lies at the feet of the music industry. Because we have a whole genre that does nothing but promote the killing of a black person. The whole genre. We have a subculture called drill music, that stems from this industry. And with the drill music, it's the fuel. It's the fuel. So how many people keep sitting back, licking their chops, watching this destruction before somebody says, okay, man, let's free them. They freed the slaves. Somebody said, okay, man, we can't keep doing this. Then somebody came along and said, okay, man, we got to give them some kind of rights. How we done it long. So it's something we need it again. We need it again. So I'm trying to shake the drum. I don't care what I got to do, man. I'm trying to shake the drum. And I started out at the rappers because that's what tricked me. We're starting to learn more and more about Tupac. We're starting to learn more and more about Suge Knight. Suge Knight was a football good kid, come from a good home. He wasn't tough. Man, do you know if we would have known that? Man, if we would have known O'Shea, Ice Cube wasn't a real gangster, that he was intelligent and O'Shea liked to write movies, man, we would have had something else to strive to be. If we would have knew Aramis was so intelligent and liked it, astrology, we wouldn't have, man, we need something else. We need something else, man. So I'm saying, okay, man, Tupac played himself. He played himself. I played myself, man. I was supposed to have been a lawyer. I waited to go to law school too late. Non-traditional student. It's harder to do it that much. So you see what I'm saying? We got played. So let's quit playing, y'all. That's why you hear me say, man, I was playing gangster. Man, I was playing bad. I was playing pimping. I was playing. And I'm starting to find out we all was playing. None of us wanted to be bad, nasty, mean, heartless killers. Somewhere down the line, we was taught wrong. We was tricked. We was abused. We had to grow up and take on this mindset in order not to be prey. And then it became a part of who we grew up to be. But we fought not to be it, but we didn't know how to change. So I'm starting to see all this now. So that's why I'm so adamant about, man, fuck them rap ass niggas. Man, fuck that shit, homie. Give us a work. So that's why I wake up and say, hey, man, I'm taking my daughter to school. Say, man, I'm driving. So I'm sitting at the table eating breakfast with my wife, baby. Look, so I'm letting the people, so I'm saying, okay, man, this is what they need to see. Man, look at man, so this is a family, man. He seemed crazy, but man, the guy's married. He's in his children's life. He's at the volleyball games, he's at the kids' football game. He's in the community doing this. He said some crazy thing. That's the character. So, but I step out of the character and say, I don't cuss like that in front of my wife and kids. I don't talk like that when they at the table. So this is what we need from a culture standpoint. So I get a little upset with you sometimes, Vlad. I say, man, he put all them gangsters on there and they saying all these victims. They killed this person. Well, yeah, I killed this person. Do we ever think to get the victim's family and see the impact that they done left?
Well, I interviewed FBG Duck's mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right after her son got killed. Right afterwards. She was still in tears.
I saw that.
You know, and she had lost her other son to gun violence as well.
I think she lost four kids. I think she lost four kids.
Three kids. She lost her
kids,
daughter. Yeah, she had like a 3-year-old daughter who died. You know.
But this is what I say about
you.
This is why I can't be mad at you. You try to go get what's out there for us. I think if you, I saw that FBG Duck's mom. Mm-hmm. We need more of that.
Yeah. And to be fair, and I respect your point of view, but if you look at all of my gangster interviews, like the mafia guys and, you know, the kingpins and so forth, if you look at the way that I end all the interviews, it shows how much of a mistake their whole life was.
Yeah.
How much regret happens at the end, how they come out of prison with nothing to show for it, except for a couple of local guys saying, oh yeah, you stood firm.
Yeah.
You know, how they lost their families, how they weren't in their children's lives, how they have no careers, they're 50-something years old, how all the money that they stacked and put in other people's names is now all gone. And they're having to start all over again as a 50, sometimes 60-year-old man with quite a hill to go up. So I've always shown that part of it. But you know, you have to show both. You can't just show the after effects. You have to show everything. But I don't think there's ever been an interview where
let me just say
their lifestyle was glamorized.
No. I ain't never seen you glamorize it. I done seen a bunch of fools come on here and trick themselves from trying to glamorize it. But this is what I want to say. We hadn't seen AJ, the comedian, until you gave him to us. And we lost.
I did his life story essentially a few years ago, and he passed away. Recently.
So what other platform besides yours had given us his life story? So that's what I'm saying about. So you
and John Witherspoon as well.
Yeah.
You know, who passed away a few years ago.
You're giving our culture something other that's different. So that's why I trip on other platforms, man, because they getting us all the same thing. So they can say what they want to say about you. I sit back and I watch, okay, he got him on there, he got him on there. It's a variety, but for the most part, man, it's a lot of victims that lay in the wait of all these guys and characters that sit on VladTV and tell their stories and their families. And it looked like we're reaping the benefits of it. And so when you cut off the camera and they start looking into our lives, what do they see? What do they discover? That's what I pride myself in, man. I say some wild shit on here. I say some wild shit. You be saying, man, what in the hell? Man, I don't do none of that shit, but I'm gonna say it. But when I cut this camera off, yes, ma'am, No, ma'am. Yes, sir. Perfect gentleman. Perfect gentleman. So that's what I was trying to tell my people before we got to this point, and everybody say, man, I hate Charleston. At this point, I don't care who hate me, because the platform is already built and the words are going forward and it's having an impact. And it's having an impact. And I say, thank you, Vlad. Thank you, Say Cheese TV, for keep giving me a platform, man, to have an impact, because it's working.
Well, I recently had Turk from the Hot Boys on my show. And, this caused some fireworks along the way. We talked about the whole, how Birdman, the kissing thing and so forth. And what he said was, well, look, he goes, most men aren't going to admit this, but every group of guys play quote unquote gay games, or we call them penitentiary games, where we say little gay things to each other or whatever, and it's just playing around and so forth.
Every male, dog, have some type of game, gay game. That's what they call it, gay game, penitentiary game, that they play with their homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Niggas not gonna mention it. They not gonna say it because of social media, and they'll try to act like they gangster or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But every nigga might be like, damn, bitch, you sexy today, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be doing shit like that. But to me, it's not no, you know what I'm saying? When you know your sexual preference, bro, it's like, what the fuck?
I've never heard it said as penitentiary games. Do you know what that means to someone who spent a lot of time in the penitentiary?
Oh, yeah, they got gay men that play penitentiary games in prison. That's how they test the water.
Okay.
You can't play penitentiary gay game with a straight man. Y'all go fight. You can't play grab ass with a straight man. So I don't know no circle or a straight man that they play gay game, let alone picking lips. Them boys were kissing over there in Cash Money. No, man, no, he lying. He lying. See, you got to understand how old he is. We just now in the locomotive part of the LGBT gay movement. They just now that train just now starting to take off. When they started out, the train was saying, choo choo, letting everybody know this is, hey, we finna say the train taking off. And they was round the train. So of course they gonna think, hey man, this is what guys do. No, man, we don't get drunk and do that. We don't get high and do that. We don't do that. Because guys who've been to prison, they'll break your jaw if you disrespect them in any kind of manner, man, with them games. No, you can't do that to no real stand-up guy who went to prison and didn't do that. Nah, you ain't finna do that to them. And at the level of they was doing this, man, they was, And I saw when you asked the question, man, that nigga seemed uncomfortable. He seemed uncomfortable even answering the question.
Well, I'd interviewed a former drug kingpin from Washington, D.C., Eddie Mathis, who spent a lot of time in prison. And if you ever think the prison is not so bad and, that the media just makes it out worse than it is, watch this interview with him where he talks about how he had seen younger guys go into prison and get gang raped by 30 older men at the same time.
Now, when we got on the hill, we heard stories prior to going over there how the older guys were raping some of the younger guys. For instance, certain guys that left there to go to Lorton, we would later hear that, man, such and such just got raped over there, So when they send about 19 or 20, it might have been 30 of us over there, we just hit the ground like, hey, ain't none of that happened. We protecting all of the young guys. We're going to stick together. And that's what we done. So we became the youth center mob.
Go watch movies like American Me.
See,
which was that was the film that made me never want to go to prison. As a teenager, I watched it and I said, no thanks.
Well,
not for me.
That's where the PREA Act comes from. The Prison Rape Elimination Act. That's a federal act where that's why they stopped mixing 17-year-olds with the 30-year-olds. And that's why they keep more youthful offenders on one unit, right? So that's PREA, the Prison Rape Elimination Act. So In the 70s and the 80s, you have to keep in mind, it was very unlikely for children to end up in prison, but 18, 19, and 20-year-olds was going. It was almost typical in the 80s for a young person to go and have that happen to them. The emergence of the gangs, the Crips and the Bloods, started making where the old prisoners don't prey on the young ones. Right now, because they all done formed in juvie. They all done formed in juvie. So when they get to prison, they already got a little size on them, and they was bucking. So now you have today, man, it's more voluntarily now. You know, from what I was always told back in those days in the 70s and the 80s, that's how one man exuded his brute strength over another man, was to demean him, take his manhood, strip him of everything. It wasn't about being just that's what's the mindset of the old prisoners. Now, everybody want to feel good. Now in prison, everybody want to feel good. They got all the drugs. They got K2. Them niggas in there on ecstasy pills. They trying to do all the street drugs in jail. So now them niggas, they volunteering fucking now. Ain't nobody raping it up. You going in with it, and it's coming out. But the Prison Rape Elimination Act protects young people now today. I know at least in the state of Texas it does. They don't too much mix young prisoners with the older 30, 40, 50-year-old prisoners. So they try to keep the youth people together.
Have you personally ever seen someone get raped in prison?
Yeah, never.
Never.
No, never.
Okay. Well, I mean, speaking of that, Nicki Minaj's husband is now actually facing time because he never registered as a sex offender when he moved to California with Nicki. This was something that happened a long time ago. The victim recently went on The Real, I believe, and spoke about the rape. It was a very brutal rape, the way she described it. There was like a gun involved and so forth. Have you heard about this story?
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
Yeah, he both go to jail. They know, them niggas know they supposed to register as them sex offenders. Yeah, they know that. So you make the bed, you lie in it. You make the bed, you lie in it, man. So go do that time. Nicki Minaj is very vocal about a lot of things, but she's very silent about this one. If nothing but the least, she should come out and embrace young girls who that have happened to, as well as that victim her husband has, and make it known she don't support it, she don't condone it, but she married to him. She don't owe us a reason. She don't owe us an excuse on why she married to this pedophile. That's between her and her God. But she do owe all the young girls who can relate to that because of her status and symbol in the hip hop industry.
Yeah, but the problem is for Nicki, it's a very slippery slope because her own brother got convicted of repeatedly raping his daughter-in-law. And she actually financially supported him, from what I understand, and spoke out for him.
Yeah, she can't say a goddamn thing. Yeah, she probably fucking babies too then. If she got a nigga that's fucking and her brother fuck him, shit. Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm gonna keep saying that. Yeah, goddamn, you done got your nigga, your boyfriend mess with babies and your brother rape babies. Yeah, the spirit's trying to tell us something. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's some weird shit.
Lil Baby recently went on the internet to show off his new $400,000 watch, which ended up getting spotted by a fake watch buster, and it was found out that the watch was actually fake. What's actually funny about this particular story is that the jeweler that he got his watch from, Raffaello and Company, I'd actually bought a Rolex from some years back. I traded in a Hublot King Power. And when I went to go get the watch appraised and looked at and so forth, we come to find out that it was what you call a Frankenstein watch, where like one of the links in the back was rose gold instead of yellow. The actual glass was an actual Rolex glass, so I had to get that replaced and so forth. And it's just sort of an interesting kind of thing.
Oh, he's been fucking over people for a long time.
What's that?
Yeah, he been fucking over people for a long time then, huh? So
well, I'm not gonna say that. So,
he fucked over you. You
I'm
just
not
said.
gonna that, but
say,
he
listen.
he fucked
say,
yeah
listen.
yeah
listen,
with me. Yeah, I had my situation. Lil Baby had his situation. I never broadcast mine, so it wasn't like a big outrage or whatever else. I just kind of kept it moving. But yeah, I mean, if you go with the wrong jeweler, this is the type of shit that happens.
We all, man, I hate to say this because they go say, man, he always talking about black people. All us go to the wrong jeweler because we're coming from impoverished conditions. We coming up out the hood, from the streets, very minimal to no education. We don't know real crystal. We don't know real brass. Man, we don't know shit. We get all this goddamn money, we just go to spinning. And I hate to jump on Johnny, but all jewelers, we don't know if them high dollar quality diamonds, we don't know what we getting. We just want to bling bling, right? The poor man mindset. We don't know jewelry can be a real asset. We don't know if you go get the right appraisal with the right amount of paperwork that this could be a hell of an investment. We don't know if you buy a painting on a wall, that painting can be worth millions of dollars. We don't know that. We just want to look at me. Hey, look at me, boy, I got this $400,000 watch. I want the biggest watch. I don't care if that bitch hurt my wrist. Ain't that what he said in that song?
That's what he said.
He hurt his wrist, 400,000. 400,000.
hurt a lot more than his wrist, let me tell you.
So here's the lesson to be learned. If you're gonna start making those kind of purchases, wouldn't you want to research? Wouldn't you want to know about this? Why this watch costs $400,000? And how can Raphael sell this watch? How can Raphael sell this watch to me at $400,000? Why can't I go to the man who make these watches if I'm spending this kind of money and pay? You see what I'm saying?
Right, and there actually is a reason for this because I don't buy $400,000 watches, but I buy pretty expensive watches, and a lot of times when you walk into these dealerships, into these watch dealers, like for example, if you walk into an Audemars store, there's literally nothing on the shelves because these watches, you could buy them for, let's say, $70,000 and go across the street and sell them for $170,000, just like that in New York. So you start to need to form relationships with the actual manufacturers, which I'm starting to do myself and so forth, because the watches literally sell out and there's a gray market around it. And for everyone who's watching, when you mentioned the whole investment thing, in general, jewelry is not a good investment, but if you want something that'll actually hold its value, buy a watch like a Rolex, an Audemars, a Richard Mille, a Patek Philippe. Those four brands, when it's time for you to sell that watch, you could usually get whatever you paid for it back as a trade-in. Once you start to ice it all out, once you start to, put different shit on it, all these custom chains, all these custom diamonds, whatever else, it's essentially going to be relatively worthless when it's time for you to trade it in.
Yeah, it only means something to you. Yeah, it only means something to you.
It only means something to you. And I mean, even an iced out watch will be worth about half of what you paid for it, if you're lucky. Sometimes even less. Sometimes even less, because most people don't want that shit. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at a very small, amount of people, and it's no longer original, so it doesn't have that value anymore associated with it.
Well, when I see that article, my mind says the world is laughing at us. We're prey. Man, anybody can get us, homie. We don't know. And then we don't have the right people around us to teach us, right? More people be around you to use you rather than teach you and help you to be able to sustain this wealth. So when I see that, I'm saying, man, God, this nigga got 400,000. So I can only imagine when they go to the malls, when they at the mall in the income tax season and they want the gold and then I want the diamond there, man, I got $20,000 on my grill. I be saying, man, you probably got screwed, rapper. So when I hear the rappers bragging on the cost, in my mind, yeah, you probably got screwed.
Yeah, I just interviewed Hurricane Chris, and we talked about how in his heyday, he spent like $400,000 in a month. And I'm like, well, what was the biggest ticket item during that 400,000 shopping spree? He goes, well, I went to the jeweler and spent 160,000 on a couple of chains and like a watch. You know, didn't sound like he even had it anymore. When you talk about blowing 400,000 in a month, like when you look back at some of the craziest purchases, like what were some of those things where you're like, I can't believe I just spent that much money on that, you know, as you're older now?
Going to the jeweler and not even paying attention to how much money I spent until probably like 3 days later. Like, and then I realized I just spent like over $160,000 on a watch and 2 chains that I don't even need and a little bit of charm. You know, like just stupid stuff that a kid wants.
160,000. God knows what the wholesale of that is, how much the jeweler walked away. Jeweler probably walked away with 130,000 in profit that day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, none of us have diamond mines, right? None of us have a gold mine. So whatever they tell us that it is, that's what it is, because we don't know. None of us is saying, okay, all of these rappers in the industry, man, we've been investing in the jewelry game. We done made so many people rich out buying this. Why don't we go over there and try to get us one of them diamond mines, one of them gold mines somewhere? They got them in Haiti. They ain't got to go to Africa. They got them in Nevada. They got them in so why not? This is what we like to spend our money on. Why wouldn't somebody say, man, why don't we invest in a tennis shoe factory since we like buying tennis shoes?
Well, I mean, it's been done. Stephon Marbury started his own tennis shoe, the Starberries. Shaq, the Shaq shoes that everyone laughs at, he sold hundreds of thousands of pairs at a cheap price so kids aren't sitting there shooting each other over the Jordans.
Where the factories at?
It's been done.
Where the shoe factories at? Where they can,
Probably in China.
Did you hear what I said? We need shoe factories. We need them over here. With a bunch of black kids in there, a bunch of young teenage kids working, making Michael Jordan tennis shoes. Yeah, making somebody tennis shoes, since we love shoes. So we can self-sustain if we served ourselves the things we like to buy from others. We have the same things that we like to buy from others. We have our people that sell it, but we won't buy it from them because they don't have the big names like Raphael or whoever it is, like Johnny Dane. They don't have those big names that's endorsed by the industry. So we overlook the small-time jewelers. We automatic doubt that he gonna sell us a watch like Raphael because he's a small-time jeweler. But a big name like Raphael, there's no question about it. Give me that $400,000 watch. You'll never question him because who he's endorsed by. So if our entertainers, our celebrities, if they took a step back, made an about face, looked at us, and came and endorsed some of this over here, man, they could create some new millionaires. They can create some new black businesses. They can make some new black stars. But they stay huddled amongst themselves with their wealth and their resources. Now, they kick a little bit back. They throw a little bit back, but they never make an about face and say, let's build out here, all of them together. Man, if they can just give us 2 years of that, man, we'll solve 30% of our problems. And then come back to the drawing board another 2 years and look again.
I mean, it just sounded like a dude. He was like a dirty kind of just like dude. You know, there's a mugshot that, you know, was posted of him and everything else like that. It's not like he just followed her to her house. Maybe he was, you know, watching her on Instagram or whatever, just followed her house, strangled her, and then killed himself.
Well, now check this out. Hold on. Now check this out. Now that's the narrative. That's an easy narrative to believe. This crazy deranged guy, he don't know her from nobody. Just stalker and killer. Well, that's what we may want to believe. Me and you couldn't get up that close up on her. She's an Instagram model. How a stranger get that close up on an Instagram model? She dealing with celebrities. A regular John Doe guy couldn't do it. So how would it be possible? This deranged guy shows up and gets in her house. No forced entry, get in there. So it don't make sense to me if I'm an Instagram model and a stalker that I don't know has this easy access to me, and I'm chilling with celebrities doing this, so hoeing going bad.
Well, but you also have to understand that a lot of these girls, they're on Instagram, they're live streaming, they're doing this out of their house, they're doing it in front of their car, they're doing it in front of their apartment building. You know, like, I think of security very much in terms of the line of work that I'm in. I actually have armed security that comes with me, like yourself and so forth. I think of this a lot. That's why you don't ever see me bragging with my cars, showing you where I live or whatever else. But most people don't have that type of mindset, you know? They're trying to get followers, especially when your game is to get more followers.
Well, those girls are caught up into the lifestyle. They're not caught up into the business side of it. It's like the dude out selling dope just to buy tennis shoes, go to the club, and get high and have fun. They're caught up into more of a lifestyle of it, right? If you're dealing with celebrities, you've made it to a status. How is it a regular person off the internet has access to you when the average guy that lives next door to you don't have access to you? You see what I'm saying? So maybe it's one of them ones. Hey man, listen. I know a deaf dude. Get more pussy than anybody, and won't no girl admit to getting a deaf dude no pussy. He blah, 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 blah. So maybe it's one of them situations. We won't ever know she used to sneak and give him some pussy, and he just went crazy because because it just don't make sense.
I mean, listen, I got one of my closest friends, he had a few hiccups early on in life, but by the time he was in his 40s, things were finally starting to really look up for him. He was stabilized. His job was getting better. He was getting ready to move into a new apartment. Within 7 months, he got 2 women pregnant, neither of which were his girlfriend at the time, just girls he was messing with. And it just dragged him back down again. It was one of those things where it's like,
babies out of wedlock. That's the fastest way to get drugged down.
Exactly. And I remember having a conversation with him. I'm like, why don't you get a vasectomy? He's my age. He's 48. He goes, well, I don't want to get a vasectomy because I may meet the woman of my dreams one day and she's going to want to have kids. And I'm like, so you think that this, pie in the sky idea is worth the risk of you having more kids out of wedlock and more baby mothers along the way? And, they took his passport at one point. He couldn't go travel with his family and so forth. And you have this sort of thing where, you speak to most men about vasectomies, even when they have a lot of kids by a lot of different women, they do not want to do it.
No, they don't. Most by the time they start thinking about doing it is a lot of older men. So we thinking, that cum ain't as strong as it is, and we can't make babies late in our 40s. I thought that for a while. Till I started seeing guys making babies late in their 40s. So yeah,
you can make babies in your 70s if you want.
Well, in the black community, we taught that certain things stop you from making babies. Niggas done been locked up masturbating, smoking marijuana, all kind of these stigmas, right?
Right.
But for the most part, the culture that I was raised up in, we're not taught to be sexually responsible. We're not taught when you have this baby, boy, you go get you a job, you try to beat her full. We're not taught that. Some mamas saying, do you think that's your baby? It's some mothers already giving an excuse. Boy, you sure that's your baby? I need a blood test to make sure that's yours. So it's a whole lot of guys that sleep with women and know that they didn't use protection, and the first thing they say with, are you sure it's mine? Knowing he been with her unprotected. I don't care if she been with 10 men. You been with her. So you in line, you see what I'm saying? So, but right. we discredit that, right? But as men, we're taught to have casual sex, one night stands. So there's not a lot of big responsibility taught to boys on having sex. So it's casually having. So when we end up getting somebody pregnant, man, we don't like each other now.
Yeah, I mean, you had a quote that really struck me. I think it was on your Instagram page where you said, most people in relationships who's not married are just 2 broke motherfuckers who spend their time with another person, fucking, arguing, fucking, and at some point end up living together with no real plans, no goals of marriage, no future intentions of building, no real lines of communication set, but they don't trust one another. The cycle and pattern of unhealthy dating is a norm amongst my generation of black men and women.
That sounds like your 20s and your 30s, don't it?
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think this is really just in the black community. I think this is in most communities.
Well, in your community, y'all might get married by the time y'all graduate college, right? So by the time y'all get y'all degrees, y'all probably be married, right? So upon leaving college, most of y'all have been married. By the time you get 35, 40, probably been married 3 or 4 times. We shack. We fresh out of high school, we catch the girl 20 with the apartment. We dropping out of high school to go live with her. So we leave out of mom's house and move in with a woman. Most black boys do. And we play boyfriend, girlfriend with no intentions of dating to be married. Right? So never in 19, 20, 21, 22, somewhere in the white culture, y'all taught to get married. Even if he got a big old fat white girl, he gonna have him a woman. They're gonna get married, they're gonna have a mate. We're taught to gigolo. Man, you better not settle down with her. Oh man, who you on the phone with? Oh man, he on the phone with his woman. Man, oh, you simping. So we would shame you for trying to be one-on-one with your woman. You see what I'm saying? So culturally, get you a bunch of women, boy. Have you a bunch of women. It's not to be responsible with this one that you're dating. So when she get pregnant, we don't get into father mode of let me go to the doctor. We don't have that example. We get into, man, she tripping. Because we don't understand what she's about to go through. So we run away from her. We with the boys, hanging out, partying. When the baby come, we show up. Boy, look at my baby. I'm a daddy. Then we run away again until we have another one. And so what tends to happen to us, by the time we 35, 36, 37, something clicks and we trying to get our life together. But we got 3 kids. We might not have a real stable job work history, so child support hitting us. We may be some decent guys, but when we step to a woman of success and affluence, we really not in her dating pool.
Well, I actually looked it up while you were talking. I looked up the marriage and divorce rates amongst whites, blacks, and Hispanics. The marriage rate for Hispanics is 33%. Whites is 32%, and blacks is 17%. So you're looking at roughly a 50% marriage rate between blacks and Hispanics already. Divorce rate for whites is 15%, Hispanics is 19%, and for blacks is 31%.
Oh boy, they leaving us, fellas. They divorcing our motherfucking ass.
So I mean, according to this chart, and this is on bgsu.edu. Bowling Green State University. You can look it up for yourself. I'm not sure how accurate this is overall, but this is just the first thing that came up in a Google search. You're looking at roughly a 50% marriage rate and a 200% divorce rate compared to other communities.
I just explained why. We get married older, right? More stubborn. She ain't sharing her bank account. You don't know how much she make. You see what I'm saying? So we're not growing together. We already got a sexual pattern. You see what I'm saying? So it's a clash. They're older. You're less likely to compromise. You're stuck in your ways. Men, so we're not seeing young people get married fresh out of college, 21, 22, bright-eyed. We very rarely see that. We normally see late 20s, 30s, and by the time they 40, they divorce, hollering about, I'm living the 40 single life and I'm living my best life at 40. And what I'm seeing, because I'm analyzing, I'm seeing mama and grandmama and them. They generation of black women held us together. They're dying with no companionship. They're dying alone. So when you look at our aunts, our grandmother's sisters, they're dying alone. When you look at our dads and our uncles, they got a woman and one on the side. And when they die, it's a fight at the funeral because they discovered it's another woman. So this is what we're seeing. So at some point, we got to go back and embrace that family structure and understand that, man, me and this woman got to stay together for the benefit of these children. So we have to learn to work together, and it's not about love. It ain't about, some days I'm gonna wake up and not feel like I love you.
Yeah, it's about partnership. And
There
let
you
me
go.
tell you.
There you go, buddy.
As someone, let me tell you, and I could say this, with firm confidence in terms of all the men that I have interviewed over the years, all of the men that I personally know that I have close relationships with, the most successful men are almost always married.
I made that post.
Almost always, because the level of partnership that you're going to have with your woman is not the same as what you're going to have with another man, regardless if that's your best friend, that's your day one, that's your whatever. Your woman who you have children with does not have an ulterior motive when she speaks to you. You know what I mean? She's thinking about the welfare of her children and her household and what's going to happen if you're not, when you pass away and the generational thing and the future and so forth. She's not there to try to put some money in her pocket or be a yes woman or pacify you or try to get as big of a bag for herself. You guys probably have, at least one joint bank account. You guys have children together. You guys have a house together. You guys, she might be involved in your business or whatever else. And I see it over and over again. Yes, there's the anomalies like the 50 Cents of the world who even now has a stable girlfriend. But what I'm saying is mostly when you look at just look at the Forbes list and see how many of the people on that list are just single.
Look throughout history. Just look
throughout history.
Look throughout history and look at all the great men who've ever been deemed great had a woman standing next to them.
Exactly. Even in hip hop, who are the richest people in hip hop? Jay-Z, married.
Dr.
Kanye,
Dre, married. Kanye,
Dr. Dre, married. Well, I mean, things aren't working out. But
Russell Simmons, married.
Russell Simmons, during most of their success, they were married. Now, yes, people get divorced, things happen. I understand that. But when you look at, you're right. During Russell Simmons' heyday, he was married most of the time. Jay-Z, he stepped up. Swizz Beatz.
Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan.
Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. I mean, these men have, because if you're just constantly rotating women in and out of your life on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, it's going to create a level of chaos in your life.
Think
it's going to be hard to concentrate on what you're...
Hip-hop culture don't allow you to embrace what you're speaking so highly of. This is a misogynist. You don't uplift the woman in hip-hop culture. You don't say...
Yeah, we don't love them hoes. It's
you don't write
damn
no
near a
songs
banner
about your
for
wife.
hip-hop.
You don't write no songs about my wife. You don't praise your wife. You don't praise your woman in this hip-hop culture. So when the young boys say, look out, bitch. So the young boys don't know how to court anymore. They don't know how to mac. They don't know how to sit on the phone and talk sweet with the love songs playing in the background. They don't know how to drop a love letter off passing in the hallway anymore. It's flash your penis. Say, what that head like? What that mouth like, baby? So the music have taught us, you don't get no wife. You don't get a wife. Man, you get the hoe. You have a party and let the rap, man, so the playerism is embraced. But when you look at all of these guys, from Snoop Dogg been with his high school sweetheart, when you look at all, Eazy-E was married, all of these men get married. At some point, they get married. Because they realize...
E40 is another guy who's done very well successfully.
Very well.
Married the whole time.
So, Mike Tyson, every time when Mike Tyson's not married, he's off the man. It gives him something, right? So, me and you discovered this late in life. What if we taught this early in life? What if we taught this fresh out of high school? Say, man, be looking for you a partner. Be looking for you a partner. Somebody you can partner with. Stay out of them relationships and get with you somebody you can partner and build a partnership with, and then see how that goes. But we keep jumping from relationship to relationship to relationship because we want to feel good about something. We want that feeling. We want to be loved, or we want to love something to cover up something. We never learn the value of having a partner.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I remember I was looking through your Instagram, and you were talking about Bill Cosby, and this was some months back, and you said, Bill Cosby's going to die in prison.
I thought he was, yeah.
Bill Cosby's out now.
Yeah. One thing I admired about Bill Cosby his whole time in prison, I really believe he was going to die in prison. He never admitted to anything. All he had to do was admit, and he could have made parole a long time ago.
Right, yeah.
That, to me, that says I'm innocent. To me, that says I'm innocent. An old man, millionaire, in prison. He never complained, and he went in there and impacted the prison, became a father figure, became a mentor to other prisoners. Man, he touched and changed lives. So when I think about Bill Cosby now, I say, man, he might be a modern day Daniel, biblical character. But I truly believe that he was going to be R. Kelly before now, that they was going to make an example out of Bill Cosby. And he was going to die in prison, and then they would go backdoor and come get R. Kelly. That would have been my guess and my prediction.
Well, I think someone like a Bill Cosby, and this is a tough one to get your head around, because you're right. I think most people in his position, 80-something years old, sitting on hundreds of millions, would say, I'm just going to say whatever y'all want me to say, and I'm going to go home in my mansion, and if I never have to go outside again, fuck it. It's better than this jail cell right now.
Yeah.
That I might die in. Because, listen, this is the middle of COVID. If I catch COVID, I'm probably going to die. Right? And my health, as unhealthy as I am at this point, I'm blind. I got other health issues and so forth. Someone like a Cosby, though, I think really is very focused on legacy and how he's going to be remembered. He's already gotten smeared all across the board, all the statues and whatever he had, all these universities that he's donated millions of dollars to, they've all taken down everything and denounced him and everything else like that. So a lot of people are already going to basically think of Bill Cosby as a rapist, regardless of what happens afterwards. But at least, with doing that, he at least could say that I never admitted to it. I never did it. Because think about it. Being in a class like that, in a sexual assault class, and admitting like, yes, I'm a rapist. I rape women. I drug them, everything else like that. They could film that, whether you know it or not. And that could be smeared all over the internet. And there's nothing worse than a video of Bill Cosby admitting to his rapes on video. I mean, the way that the case already went, the way he got railroaded when he basically said, yeah, I did give women quaaludes before, but it was consensual and so forth, and that was supposed to be a deal. When the new district attorney started to run for office, we found the commercial of him saying, if I get elected, I'm going to prosecute Bill Cosby.
Yeah. And
essentially,
and that was a part of the agreement for him to give that deposition was, hey,
exactly.
What I say here can't come back and be used against me criminally.
Right. And this is why the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania ultimately overturned that conviction, which I think was the right thing to do. Was Bill Cosby now?
A lot of good people weighed in. They saw what happened. Once the facts came out, a lot of people from around said, hold up, this is not right. And so, man, if we can do that all the time, so kudos to those people, and just for the black people that watch me, right? man, a lot of white, powerful people came up and stood up for Bill Cosby when we abandoned him. We turned our back on Bill Cosby probably in the mid-90s when he made the public statement about our sagging pants and our mothers talking ignorant. All black people turned away from him. But he's still ours. Man, Bill is still ours. OJ turned away from us. OJ said, I ain't black. OJ went and dated white women. Man, we celebrated when OJ got off. Right? He came back, he come back home. Oh, we love OJ. When Bill Cosby got out, what did we all do? We all celebrated. So his legacy really don't lie with white America. His legacy is forever ours. Cliff Huxtable, Claire Huxtable's husband. Man, we don't believe OJ killed them people. The rest of the world do. But black people, oh, he got out. And these are people who pray to God. So if we really believed he did that, we wouldn't celebrate him getting off. We're not that heartless. We're not that cold.
Well, okay, well, hold on. Because I remember when the OJ, verdict was read, not guilty. And at that time, most of my friends were black. I was going to UC Berkeley.
They still black. Yeah, friends. Most of them still black now. Ain't they at that time? They still black now.
Right. No, but I was saying, yeah, most of my friends are still black now. But even back then, they were, is what I'm saying. And I remember, having conversations, with all my friends during that time. And they were essentially telling me the same thing, which was, we believe he did it, but black people have been railroaded so many times in the legal system that we're just happy that for once it's going the other way. It's not so much that we think he didn't do it. We just are happy that for once there's a little bit of,
There must have been suburban kid. Because we believe the glove didn't fit. We sat there and saw it with our own eyes. We believe the glove. We really believe Mark Furman them planted that. We believe Johnny Cochran them proved that they set OJ up. We don't believe.
Okay, but to this day, right now, in 2021, you believe that OJ was completely innocent and he was set up by the police.
I don't think OJ can kill two people at one time. As brutal as that crime scene was. For him, no, that was too brutal of a crime scene, man. So for him not, and then I was a kid, right? So I'm vividly remembering, man, the sentiment of they setting him up. They setting him up. That's what he gets for messing with them white women. They setting him up. But man, there's no way that we believe he killed two people at one time in such a brutal fashion.
Listen, do I think that he did it by himself? Maybe, maybe not. Do I think that he was involved in it? Yes, I do think he was involved in it.
So,
but that's my opinion. At the end of the day, he was found not guilty. So all I have is an opinion. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And at that point, and clearly when he got caught the second time for the whole, trying to get his stuff back in Vegas, that sentence was clearly get back for him getting off the first time.
Yeah.
Because the amount of time that he got for a simple robbery, whatever.
Yeah.
People done murders and gotten less time than that.
So when we get Bill Cosby, we celebrated him only to have abandoned him at one point in time. He a sellout, man. He talking this, right? He came back to us. All of our people, celebrities, at some point have to come back to black people to be buried for our legacy. No matter what y'all say about them, they lie in our hearts and in our minds, whatever they are to us. So I think that meant most to probably Bill Cosby than anything, based on his actions inside of prison with the other prisoners. He went in there, man, and done something most rich people could never do. Engage criminals that was poor, that come out of impoverished conditions. And he once was involved in the civil rights movement now. We can't forget that. Right. Heavily active, involved. And at some point, he had a little bit of radical to him. Had a little, just a tad bit. So, when do our great leaders get to ride out on a white horse without white America tainting their legacy or assassinating their character. We haven't had one yet that they just let die and be great. We ain't had one yet. I'm hoping it's Colin Powell. I hope they let Colin, I hope when he go, they just let us have him. But so far, man, we ain't had one yet that they haven't assassinated the character of a black man who was great to us. From Ali to Malcolm to Martin to Michael to Prince. What's the one just died of the overdose with the fentanyl?
Michael K. Williams.
Man, come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, when I interviewed Eddie Griffin, the comedian, he said pretty much the same thing. He said that all the black celebrities that go through Hollywood end up getting tainted, and end up having, their legacy purposely messed up. Like Michael Jackson, touched some kids. Bill Cosby drugged a bunch of women. Michael Jordan had a gambling problem, and that's why his father was killed. I interviewed one of the guys that was involved in his father's murder.
I saw that. Yeah, I didn't get to watch the whole interview, but I saw you had him on there.
Had nothing to do with anything but a random robbery. Had nothing to do with gambling or the mafia or whatever. It was two poor ass kids, a black kid and I think a Hispanic kid that basically saw a Lexus parked on the side of the road, and they end up trying to rob the guy and they end up killing him. And they made a music video. One of the guys made a music video with the guy's jewelry. Like this was not a orchestrated mafia hit. This was the most blundered, ridiculous, sad situation that I'd ever come in contact with. But, people are still going to say it. Oh, Michael Jordan with the gambling problem. He can't just be the greatest basketball player of all time. We'll see what happens with LeBron in his later years.
Well, same with Tupac. We believe white folk killed him. Man, they had to kill him. We don't want to believe that white people.
And also Tupac had the rape conviction. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah. Well, they don't want to talk about that. Yeah, they shut you down. You talk about that.
They don't. Well, I interviewed the rape accuser.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor was caught in a room with a underage prostitute with a black eye once before. I can go on and on.
Right.
All of them have been. Foxy Brown accused Jay-Z when she was 15. DMX in the movie Belly, getting his dick sucked. What the little girl say? Oh, he don't fuck me. I just suck his dick. This was promoted in Belly. I'm 15, 6. This in the movie Belly.
Yeah.
Nobody said, hold on, man, nobody said nothing.
Yeah.
Rick Ross, I put a Molly in a drink and she ain't even know it. Pimp C, I'm looking at rape. I'm looking at kidnap. We kicked in the door and fucked his main honey. So this is cultural. The culture teaches and preaches and indoctrinates a cycle of violence, including rape. Me and my homies like to play this game. Some call it Man, when I listen to that now, I say, whoa. The girls will say, stop. I say, I'm not. That's enough. I quit. Y'all are busting me out. So,
2 Live Crew.
Say, man, so when people hear me say, man, we didn't know how to ask for sex. We didn't know how to have sex listening to this filthy music. And they didn't have rated R parental discretion advisory. So we just listening to it, trying to filter it from the conditions we live in. So don't let one girl get with 4 boys and we all like this music. And we just so happen to put drinking with this underage behavior. We may do what the music say. The girl will say, stop. I say, I'm not. So we're not deciphering what they're intaking. And then when we see the behavior and the actions and the inactions of shootings like SpotemGottem, Mo 3, so we're seeing it play out because we're listening to the music, but we're not sitting down helping the children to decipher this shit.
Yeah, you're right. But during those times, the parental advisory stickers were around.
Man, after fuck Martinez, fuck Martinez. Then it came after they sued, right? That was like 90,
even
89, 90.
even before then.
Oh, so a year before then?
I know what you're talking about though. It was right around the same time with the parental advisory stickers. In fact, Two Live Crew even got arrested for selling, music to minors.
They pushed this limit. And so forth. They opened that door for that. Yeah, they did this.
One more thing before I let you go. On Instagram, you posted you bought a brand new 6-bedroom house.
Yeah. Cedar Hill, man.
I guess you said like this is like your second house or something like that?
Yeah, it's the second one. Yeah. We go rent out the one we in. This the one I was able to put my money down on for me and my wife, man. And so, that's going to be the second home. We go rent out this one. And it's out by the lake. Yeah, it's out by the lake. So I'm the success, man. So just know, I take in the advice that people say. And man, I tune up. And so if you see, I've made some changes. I've cleaned up some things. I've gotten smarter business-wise. And I'm learning how this shit really go. I'm learning how this shit really go, man.
There we go, man. I'm happy. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I like to see stuff. I like to see things like that, people leveling up the way it is. Charleston White, man, always a pleasure. You got your YouTube channel back up.
Yeah. Actually, I'm almost at 30,000 subscribers. So within 2 months, we done shot up to 30,000.
There you go, man. Keep hustling, keep grinding, man. Until next time.
Oh, man, appreciate you, fam.
Peace.